Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my boyfriend's food in his birthday and getting him banned from a restaurant? Edit. On his birthday, really should have spell check before posting. I 18 female have been dating my boyfriend, John 20 male for a little under a year. We have a pretty toxic free relationship, but there's quite a bit of tension when it comes to me being vegetarian. I've been vegetarian since 11 and I have very strict morals around it. The one thing John has a problem with is me refusing to spend my money on meat. Ever since I started making my own money, I swore to myself that I would never spend a cent of it on meat. On our dates, we usually split the bill and sometimes he pays for it all. I told him if he orders something meat-free, I'd happily pay for both of us, but he never does. When he pays for my food, it's when I've spent money on the activity. Normally concerts and festivals. That's me paying $120 on tickets and him spending maybe $50 on food. His birthday was a few days ago, and we went out for dinner at his favorite fancy restaurant. He got the most expensive steak they had along with a side salad and a bottle of wine. When we finished our food, I asked the waiter to spill the bill and John looked at me shocked. He asked if I was joking and I said no. Then he told me he thought I was going to pay since it was his birthday and he didn't budget for the meal. I asked him why he thought I'd pay since I've been very clear about my role, but he couldn't give me a reason other than it being his birthday. I told him I'd pay for the wine and the side salad, but had need to pay for the steak. He was furious with me and stormed off to the bathroom. I paid for my meal, the wine and the salad, and waited for him to come back. He didn't. After waiting for 20 minutes, I left. I found him sitting on a bench near where we parked the car. I asked him why he left and reminded him he needed to pay. He looked shocked when I said that and asked me if I didn't pay. I told him I'd paid for everything but the meat, and he lost it. He started yelling at me, telling me I was selfish, that I needed to grow up. I stayed calm and told him he needed to go back and pay. He scoffed and walked away. I ended up driving home without him. Now he's saying it's my fault that he can't show his face in his favorite restaurant since he dined and ditched. It's a pretty small restaurant, so he'd 100% be recognized and kicked out. So, am I the asshole? Edit. To the people commenting about me not treating him on his birthday, yes, I did. I even dipped into my savings for his present. Edit 2. I did not take him out for dinner. He was the one that suggested it. Response 1. Not the asshole. Ignoring the vegetarian stuff, who the fuck orders the most expensive steak possible, and then expects their partner to pay for them without having checked prior, and then storming off to the bathroom expecting that to pressure you into paying for it. Original poster, I hope you can see all the huge red flags here. Response 2. You hold a very unusual moral position. You are deeply opposed to the consumption of meat, to the point where you will not allow your money to be spent on it. But you have no problem with a live partner who frequently eats meat in front of you, as long as you don't pay for it. This is an unusual place to draw the line. I mention it because you may wish to reconsider your position before it makes things very uncomfortable. For example, if you were to marry a meat eater, upon marriage you'd have shared income and assets. Does that mean that until marriage they can eat meat, but afterwards, they can only eat it if family money doesn't pay for it? You're gonna be pushing your spouse to set up a lot of meat dates with friends in that case, but your position is unusual, not immoral. Anyhow, you're wondering if you're an asshole for what you did to John. You're not. You made your position clear, and at no point did you tell him. I'm taking you out to dinner. If you did, this was a big omission from your post. Because of this, it was unreasonable for him to assume that you were paying. It became even less reasonable after you asked for a split check. At that point, John left, in an effort to force you to pay even though you made your position clear. You didn't, and so he effectively stole his food. Now has left with the consequences of those choices. While I find your rules odd, I don't find them confusing, and presumably neither does John. You acted in an extremely principled, predictable way. If John doesn't wish to be treated like someone who leaves restaurants without paying, perhaps he shouldn't leave restaurants without paying. I've never read the relevant legal statutes, but I suspect there's no birthday exception. Not the asshole. Response 3. This was a predictable problem because it is the norm to pay for someone's meal on their birthday. I admire your position and desire to hold true to your principles. But didn't it occur to you before you went out that he might expect you to pay? If your principles are so strong, why date a guy who eats meat when you know there will be occasions in life? When you pay for the food, does he dictate what you can eat when he pays? If not, then this situation must seem unfair to him. Has the asshole for obvious reasons. Response 4. His comment that she should grow up is an incredibly clear sign that he doesn't. take her vegetarianism seriously and fully expect it to turn her into a meat eater in the future. Reminds me of guys who date girls for a while and then start pressuring them to drop weight or change other things about themselves.